Hi, my name is Courtney Millicent, and I will be your faculty member for this online course of interpersonal communication. I know it seems a little weird to take interpersonal communication online, but truly, I feel like there's some really great content that we can learn together. So, my goal for this time together today is to introduce myself, get you acclimated into the course, and kind of touch base on what I hope that you will be able to accomplish in the next few days. If needed, I will come back and answer some more questions through this video format, just so that all of the quirks are kind of melded out before we get really heavy into the class. So let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I've been at Amarillo College since 2002. I've been a full-time faculty member in the classroom since 2016. I've worked in higher education since 1996. I started at Odessa College as their recruiter and learned a ton about community colleges. Spent a couple of years at West Texas A&M University and came back to the community college because it's truly the best place. I love working with community college students. It's really where my heart is. So, my husband and I have three children. Our daughter is at WT, and our two boys are in high school, a junior and a sophomore. So, we're kind of busy, but really just, living the best life. I am a Disney person. I love going and talking about going to Disney. As you can tell from our class profile, yeah, really, really probably more than you want to talk about. Anyway. So this course is called Interpersonal Communication, and it is built so that you have a stronger idea of how to engage with people in the workplace, in your personal life, anywhere you're engaging other people. So basically everywhere, every day. I know some of you are maybe a little quieter and don't love to think about, how you engage with others. But it's really important that we have those tools and we learn how to leverage them. My focus for teaching this course is to help you be better professionals in your current job and in the career you have in the future. And the reason this is really important is because of all of the skills that employers are looking for. The number one skill it always comes back to is, can they be a decent human being while they work with other people? Hands down, time after time after time. And this course is one of those tools that we use in order to get you to that part where you're like, oh, yeah, you're a decent human being and you can work with other people. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about what you need to know. While you are looking at this class, you're just going to see week one. The weeks 2 through 8 are hidden from you at this point. They get released to you on the weekends. And that's just so that you can focus on the week that's coming ahead. So the very first thing is the syllabus acknowledgement. The syllabus is linked at the top of the page. It's really important that you go through and read the syllabus, make sure that you understand all of the course due dates are listed in there, all of the breakdown for points, how it's, the percentages for the course are broken out, all of that's in there. And it's one of those things where I think you're really going to find some benefit and be able to base your class on some really cool tools. Speaking of really cool tools, each week we will be using McGraw-Hill, the ebook, through Connect. And you may, pardon me for getting really close for a second, you may have gotten a card like this from the AC bookstore. This is an access code that you can use. You just scratch it off, like this student had already scratched theirs off. Or you can purchase access to McGraw-Hill directly by clicking on any link that has the red McGraw-Hill logo on it. If you are unable to purchase it right now, you do have 14 days of free access, and I am looking forward to you getting that done today, if not by the latest tomorrow, because so much of our course comes from using McGraw-Hill. I think when I calculated it over the course of getting the class ready, I think it was like 63% of your grade comes from McGraw-Hill content. It's a big deal. So I want to make sure that you are able and have access to this from the very beginning. In the beginning of those tools, there's a lot of how-tos. if you've used a McGraw-Hill course before, yeah, you can skip over it, but I always want you to know that these are here waiting for you should you need it. Again, when it says a resource, not a grade, there's no assignment attached to them. However, I may ask you to come back to these, specifically the McGraw-Hill support. Um, it is a tool. Oh, I can get that fixed. It's a tool that's going to allow you to go through and get all of the information that you need. Okay. Again, we'll have chapter 1 connect, and then we use a tool called Proctorio to do your quizzes and exams in this course. Proctorio requires a laptop or a desktop computer, and you have to get that done and ready to go before you can take your first quiz this weekend. One of the things that students try to do is they try to take their tablet or their Apple MacBook or their iPad or their phones and do the quizzes and tests on those. It won't work. So you have to be on a desktop or a laptop computer to do that specific thing. Okay. One of the other things that I wanted to point out to you, again, just a brief overview into the course, are the course due dates. And this is a tool that I have created for you guys so that it's really easy. You can download this and you can click and, or just, check mark that you've done those things. But it is important to note that not everything is due on Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So our first due date in the course is the 22nd, which is Thursday. So Thursday at 11:59 p.m. And then we have a due date on the 23rd, which is Friday. And then we have a due date on the 25th, which is Sunday. That is purposeful because learning does not happen in 10 minutes. Learning takes time. One of the most interesting things that I've learned about learning is that you have to forget. And by spacing out these tools and these ideas, it allows your brain that opportunity to forget, rebuild those neural pathways, and get back to the end. Now, you may choose to get everything done by the 22nd of this week, by Thursday. I love that. Great. Wonderful. Very good. You may opt to take everything by its due date. Awesome. Love that for you. But the due dates are firm in this class, and they are, I don't have any late work policies. So a due date is a due date. With that said, there's always an exception to the rule, right? I believe that you're autonomous adults and you know what you need. And that's why I have a policy in the course called the extension policy. For any student in the class during weeks 1, 2, all the way through week 6, you can ask for an extension. What that means is if before the due date you recognize that you're not going to be able to get this assignment done, you can email me through Blackboard and ask for a different due date that's later. I'll allow up to like 48 hours later. The reason I do that is because you're an adult. You know priorities and hey, I tried to get all this done and man, it's just not coming together, or the kid got sick, or my boss called me. All of that is real, and I am going to fully acknowledge it. But communication is the framework for this course. And I am stealing from Dr. Brene Brown when she says clear is kind. So I'm asking for just clear communication. And I'm going to be fully transparent. It could be that you have a test in another class and you really need to spend the time studying for that. And you just go, hey, can I have, right? So in Blackboard message, you're going to send me a quick message that says, hey, I would really love an extension on, and you're going to name the assignments. I can get that turned into you by, and you're going to name a specific date. I'd really appreciate it. I get that. And as soon as I get it, as long as it's sent before the deadline, before the due date for that assignment, I'm happy to work with you. No big deal. 9 times out of 10, you will be hesitant to use it. I would prefer you get the sleep you need. I would prefer you study for the test. I would prefer all of those things and just ask for what you need. Very rarely do I have to say no. I do hold that option, though, to say no. And let me tell you kind of where that comes from. If I feel like a student is asking week after week after week after, I'm going to push back a little bit and I'm going to ask that we meet together and figure out a plan to not have to ask for it. Um, if I am just not getting any communication from the student, if I see that the student isn't logging in during the course of the week, like there are little things that I'm looking for that kind of trigger me, like this class is an afterthought. Um, I will probably say no. But for a student who is regularly engaging with the class, they're asking good questions, they're in communication with me, I know that they're doing their work, life just got them in a bad spot that week. Yeah, happy to help. The other thing is I offer one OOPS token. An OOPS token is for an assignment. I would recommend thinking about using them for an exam if you missed one, where it's going to really drag your grade down. And what you do is if you miss, let's say next week you miss exam 2 and you just completely spaced out about it, you didn't even think about asking for an extension, you're like, oh no, then you can ask to use that OOPS token. Again, you send me a clear email with which assignment that you want to use the OOPS token for, when you want the new due date to be, typically within 48 hours. I'll get that reset for you and mark that you've used your OOPS token. That's the only one late assignment you can get for the whole semester. There is only there are two caveats to using the OOPS token. It is not available for use with the essay that's in week 5 of the class. It's due Monday of week 5, and that's introduced in week 2. So you have week 2, week 3, week 4 to get that essay done and then turn it in Monday of week 5. With that same thing, the essay is also not available for extensions. Um, it's due for everybody in the class on Monday of week 5. So that's one caveat to the OOPS token. The second one is also a caveat for extensions as well. In weeks 7 and weeks 8, I don't accept any extensions and I don't accept any OOPS tokens simply because we are at the deadline. We're at the end of the term and I don't have any additional wiggle room or time to offer that for students. So speaking of, I want to just get ahead of this. If you'll notice that our final exam is due on Thursday. I had to look at the calendar. Thursday, March 12th at 12 noon, meaning you're going to sit down and have lunch. It's due before then. It is for this particular reason because I have to have grades turned in Friday at noon. That gives me 24 hours to get all of my classes packed away, finished up, all grading done, and grades reported by that Amarillo College deadline. I have done it in the past where I give it until midnight. It does not work. That's not enough time to really make sure that everything is taken care of. It also doesn't feel right to have it due on the night before on the 11th at 11:59 p.m. because you would have that additional time. So if you internally just need to think that it's due on the 11th at 11:59 p.m. so you don't miss the noon, happy, write that down. Put it in your calendar. But I just want to get out ahead of this and make sure that you understand where everything lies and all of the due dates associated with that. I think I've blabbered long enough for right now. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I prefer messages through Blackboard. My turnaround time for answering emails and messages is within 48 business hours. So Monday through Friday, 48 hours. If you email on Friday, I may get back to you that day, or it may be on Monday of the following week. But I always work to get you feedback to your messages as quickly as possible. So I look forward to working with you this term, and I'm looking forward to meeting you and engaging with you. And when you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Talk to you soon.